Today we have a real reason for celebration. 2 days ago we learned 窝、坡、摸、佛. Yesterday we learned 的、特、呢、了、个、可、呵、鸡、七、西、一. And today we will learn the last two sets of initial sounds in Mandarin Chinese. After we learn these two sets, there are no other sounds that can begin syllables in Chinese. That's it. Not very many. So today, of course, we will be focusing on z, c, s, and zh, ch, sh. Get ready for it. R. Let's begin with z, c, s. These sounds are known as the dentals, and the reason why is because in order to pronounce these sounds correctly, your tongue has to make contact with the back of your top teeth and release. Without making any sound, give that a try. Push your tongue, the tip of your tongue, against the back of your top teeth. And once we do that, let's pronounce the first sound. Z. In order to make these sounds properly, you need to smile, show your teeth. Dentals, show your teeth. Z. 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 And the C. 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 And the S. This one, your tongue should not quite touch the teeth. There should be just enough room between the tongue and the teeth for a little air to flow through. S. S. If you recall, when we pronounced these sounds, the J sounded kind of like a DJ because your tongue was a little bit more forward in your mouth. G, G. And the Q sounded like TCH because your tongue was forward. Chi, chi. And we had an elongated hissing sound for shi, shi because your tongue was forward in the mouth. Well, for the dentals, your tongue is even more forward. And so the Z sound is going to sound almost like DZ. Z, z. And the C sound is going to sound like TS. C, c. These might sound very similar to you. The difference is with DZ, if you feel your voice box, z, 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 it should buzz the whole time. Z, z. Whereas with TS, if you feel your voice box, put your hand on your throat, you won't feel any vibration until the vowel sound, but the TS part doesn't have any vibration. S, s, s. Notice that when you say ji, chi, shi, e, the vowel sound sounds like e. And since your tongue is in a different part of your mouth, when you say zi, ci, si, the letter I sounds different. E, e, one more time. Z, c, si. When we learn this next group of sounds, it will have another sound yet again. All right, time for a tongue twister. Purple mock chicken with purple vinegar. 紫色素鸡加紫醋. A little quicker. 紫色素鸡. These are in red because they're from this other line. 素鸡加紫醋. Purple color, vegetarian chicken, add purple vinegar. 紫色素鸡加紫醋，紫色素鸡加紫醋。The next group of sounds, zh, ch, sh, r, are called the retroflex sounds. Retro means backwards, in the past. And flex, of course you know what that means. Retroflex. What this means is that you need to flex your tongue backwards in the mouth. And the place where the tongue makes contact, if you put your tongue in your mouth and move it from the teeth, that's where you made z, c, c, and back to the ji, chi, shi, yi position, and even further back to where there's a drop off. You have a raised part here and then a drop off, the back of the alveolar ridge. Curl your tongue back to where that drop off is, and let's pronounce zh, ch, sh, r. When we said ji, chi, shi, yi, the I was pronounced like E. That's because the vowel, the I sound, stays, your tongue stays in the same position in the mouth as the consonant. The tongue doesn't move. Ji, chi, shi, yi. Same thing with the dentals. Your tongue touches the teeth, and when the vowel is pronounced, the tongue barely moves at all. Z, c, s. And now, when you pronounce these sounds, the tongue will hardly move at all. So to pronounce the vowel, the tongue needs to stay retroflexed. Zh, ch, sh, r. This might sound like a ton of detail. You won't need to know any of this detail for the test. And once you actually start learning vocabulary, you'll learn that ch means to eat. And you'll hear it so many times and practice saying it a bunch of times, and it will just come naturally how to spell it in pinyin and how to pronounce it accurately. So don't worry. All right. So the ZH sound sounds kind of like a J sound, but the tongue is curled back further. Zh. The CH sound sounds like a CH sound in English, but the tongue is curled back further. Ch. The SH sounds like SH, but the tongue is curled back further. Sh. And the R sound is one that really gives students trouble, but it's not that hard. Curl your tongue back and say sh. And when you say the R sound, just make sure that your voice begins earlier. When you say sh, you don't use your voice. But when you say sh, you use your voice from the very beginning. Sh, r, sh, r. That's the only difference. Now for a tongue twister. This tongue twister has examples from all three groups. It means Zhang Ziyi eating 7 live chickens. Zhang Ziyi is a movie star from Hero, from many, many Chinese movies. Zhang Ziyi Chi Qi Zhi Ji. Let's isolate these 4 syllables. Retroflex, forward. Retroflex, forward. Your tongue should move back and forth. Chi, qi, zhi, ji. Chi, qi, zhi, ji. Zhang Ziyi Chi qi zhi 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 ji.